What's going on, sports card hobby family? Another day, another sports card video. We're back again to tackle an always highly debated topic. Which one is the true Michael Jordan rookie card? Is it the 84 star number 101? Or is it the iconic 86 Fleer, which many have grown to enjoy and love? Great photo on the card, just a great card overall. But we're going to dive into really kind of the details of this thing, and I'm going to tell you why the debate really is over on this thing. It is the 84 star Jordan 101, and it always has been. Stick around. Before we dive into this topic, we've got our Friday shout-outs, justcollect.com. Maybe you've got a collection to sell. You've been thinking about who can I go to get a good appraisal for my collection. Leighton Sheldon and the justcollect.com team can help you out. Just go to their website. There is a free appraisal. They will check it out for you and take care of you. So definitely check out Leighton Sheldon at justcollect.com. Also, if you're looking into vintage non-sports, man, you got your fix with the sports cards. You're looking for non-sports. Jay Duckin Cards on IG is the absolute man for vintage Disney cards, all sorts of different vintage non-sports entertainment cards, as well as modern stuff as well. So make sure to check out his IG. He is selling, buying, and also trading, so check his IG out now. And last but certainly not least, Wooten Cards on Whatnot. You're doing some whatnotting. Check out Wooten Cards, 11,000 followers now, 5.0 review rating. The guy is a machine, pretty much sells out every week on Whatnot, so definitely check out Wooten Cards. All right, so let's go back in history a little bit. The Star basketball cards. It all happened in 1983. Robert Levin, the founder of Star, he's coming off the back of really, 80, 81 Topps basketball cards, and Topps kind of getting out of basketball cards. If you can believe this or not, nobody really collected basketball cards going back then. I shouldn't say nobody, but a very niche part of the overall card collecting hobby, mostly baseball card collectors, just not a lot of demand for basketball cards. And so Topps out. Fleer, not interested. Fleer, of course, made a set in 1961. No one's interested. And then Star comes in. Word on the street is that Robert was able to get the NBA license for $10,000. Can you believe that? How many people would be bidding if the NBA license for trading cards was started on a bid of $10,000? That'd actually be kind of fun for the public to watch. And just let, Panini, Michael Rubin, anybody on the planet, hey, bid on this. How much would you pay for a license to print NBA basketball cards? Well, it's about $10,000 is what the approximate number was going back to 1983. Star was born, and you had the 83-84 All-Star set. That is that first set that came out. And then, of course, you've got the 84 set, Jordan's rookie year, 84, number 101. This is a card when I talk to longtime card collectors, they have always thought of this card as the rookie card. And I actually ran a poll on YouTube here recently where I asked, hey, what do you consider to be the rookie card? And overwhelmingly, I got the Star. Now, I made a similar video to this going back a year and a half, and it was overwhelmingly Fleer. So again, small data set, very, very small data set. But for me personally, it shows that people are looking harder at that Star card, the Star 101 Jordan rookie card, because going back a couple years, again, that was not at all what I was seeing, what I was hearing. And it's certainly changed, or at least more of those old-time collectors that were back then at that point, they're just speaking up more, which could be the case. I've had people actually come out and say, oh, the Star card's wasn't a licensed card. They actually didn't realize that this was a licensed card going back. It's right on the back of the card. It says NBA licensed by the NBA on the back of that 84 Star card number 101. Now, one myth associated with Star cards is they were only sold regionally, which is not true. So there's actually ads that go back. And again, talking to longtime collectors, they said that these were in all of the major publications. You could mail order these cards, these sets, these team sets. And then, of course, they had Series 2 that came out a little bit later on. But you could order the team sets. It was nationally available. nationally available, but just mail order. So it wasn't necessarily going to the grocery stores and the gas stations and that sort of thing. Distribution was a little bit different, but it wasn't regional. It wasn't regional distribution. It was open nationally. And again, longtime collectors have said they had ordered them from various places across the country and gotten a hold of them, and also at card shows all around the country. This was not just a regional distribution. Now, one thing that we should note, which I think for collectors nowadays is of importance, print runs very low, especially in comparison to what we saw with a typical basketball set that came out, especially compared to 86 Fleer basketball, where it was printed, widely available. So there is an estimate on these team sets of between 3,000. It was advertised at 3,000. There's estimates up to 7,000. I mean, hell, if they're wrong and they're underestimating it, even if it's 20,000 that were originally made, it's still a limited release. It's still a small print run compared to going back then or compared to what we have now being released. So that is one thing, is they were available nationally, but they didn't print a million team sets. Big myth number 2, the Jordan 101 was highly reprinted or counterfeited. Now, there's some confusion here, and if we go to starbasketballcards.com, this is an excellent resource. So on top of me talking to other star collectors, as well as other just longtime collectors that know this stuff, starbasketballcards.com, if you want to dive into more of this and just kind of learn more about the overall sets and everything, that is an excellent resource. And I'm going to go back to some of the information that they gave here. First is there was counterfeits, type 2 counterfeits is what they called them, that were popping up in the early 90s, but they were for second year star. So 85, 86, not the 84 set where you've got that Jordan 101. It's the second year. Type 2 counterfeits started to pop up in the early 90s, just felt different, kind of like what you see, with counterfeits and so forth. But what's another card that's highly replicated and counterfeited? The 86 Fleer Jordan rookie. There's probably not another card, frankly, where there's more replica copies than that 86 Fleer Jordan card, and counterfeits and everything. Everybody's tried to counterfeit that thing. Now, the big scandal and a huge mistake here, Robert Levin, founder of Star, which sadly, starbasketballcards.com states that his early years, so those 3 years of him making basketball cards, and if you can even imagine, that included Michael Jordan, he didn't make money from it. So it was not a money-making venture, according to starbasketballcards.com. Well, of course, the rise of popularity in sports cards and basketball cards as a whole, Jordan's doing his thing, Jordan's doing all of his magical stuff. In 1997, Robert Levin went on the Shop at Home network, and this is really the big scandal, where he was promoting unearthed star cards that were produced in 1983 to 1986, but it turns out they were actually newly printed and backdated to 83, 86. Some of those sets that were remade, that he was kind of calling 83, 86, there were some like 85, 86 sets that he kind of replicated, but they had different colors and kind of obvious. You could tell something was off. But the vast majority of these were different pictures. So it wasn't using the same pictures going back 83 to 85 for those cards that he came out and sold in 1997, pretending like they were made 14 years earlier. And the Jordan 101 was not in this grouping at all. So when we're looking at the two major scandals with star cards, it's those type 2 counterfeits, but they were kind of the second year cards. And then it was the Shop at Home scandal, where I think it's reported that millions of these cards were printed out. They're all over the place, sadly, but they're fairly easy to identify today, in large part because of a guy, Steve Taft. So Steve Taft was the guy that really was an early dealer of Star. So he was in on Star going all the way back when they first released. If I understand correctly, he was an early dealer of these and really got to know these cards, loved them, distributed them, and so forth. He ended up becoming a consultant to Beckett when Beckett was grading these cards going back in time. PSA, because of kind of what you had seen here with some of the counterfeits and that sort of thing, they had decided not to grade these. And so just recently, we saw a couple years ago, PSA now has come out and said, hey, we're going to grade these, in large part because Steve Taft, who was consulting with Beckett and helping to authenticate going back in time when Beckett was authenticating, he joined PSA. So he joined PSA to help them, and that's why you're now seeing PSA graded star cards. They started with the 84, and now if I have this correct, they're doing all star cards. They're doing all the sets, but it's Steve Taft that's there helping to authenticate, training the PSA folks to be able to do this. And that has kind of renewed the debate and also renewed the interest in these cards, as now PSA has started grading them over the last couple of years and kind of brought that story back to the forefront. Another thing that's interesting, if we go to Beckett Magazine. So Beckett Magazine, of course, the first issue, I remember buying this thing and being absolutely pumped to buy this issue. It came out in March, April of 1990. I was just about to turn 9 years old when this first basketball issue came out. I bought it along with the whole generation of folks that just got back into the hobby again 5 years ago or so, because they got that Beckett Magazine as well. And I remember distinctly looking at that 86 Fleer Jordan in the Beckett Magazine, and it had the RC, and then the star card was also in Beckett, and it was listed as the XRC. And there's some reasons behind this. It's been talked to death. There's a lot of folks kind of on the Beckett side that have talked about the limited distribution, wasn't available in packs, this, that, or the other thing. But I also just think about the time period as well. And this is me speculating. This isn't anything I've heard from anybody, but I was just thinking about that first Beckett magazine came out in the first quarter of 1990. That's a full 6 years after the star card came out, and it's 4 years after the 86 Fleer rookie card came out. In 1990, I kind of wonder if Beckett had came out and with their basketball issue going back in 1984, how would it have gone down? Only because if you look at where it was in 1990, 86 Fleer came out, and then of course you had 87 Fleer, 88 Fleer. You have a major manufacturer that is in play making cards, in large part because of the rise of Michael Jordan. We'll talk about that in a second. And so Fleer was a player in 1989, 1990, as Beckett was probably putting these magazines together. Star, on the other hand, they had a 3-year run. They started in 80, they got the license in 83, 84, and they're pretty much done going into 86 or so is pretty much where they wrapped up. So was there as much relevance for the Star company at the time compared to a Fleer, which was a huge player in the game at that point? And the answer is obviously no. Star was kind of a flash in the pan. They were there, they had the license, they created licensed cards, but they weren't a major manufacturing machine, and they weren't going to be a long-time player in the space. They were pretty much done in 1990 when the Beckett magazine came out. I think if we were looking at this situation in today's world, we would say that Star, being a fully licensed card, and actually it's kind of nice because it was the only one going back to 1984. Nowadays, hell, how many different Wemby rookie cards do you have? It might be one company that's making them. There's a zillion different parallels and so forth. And so given the print runs associated with these star cards, the fact that they're fully licensed cards, and they were available nationwide distribution. Now, there wasn't a lot of them available. Of course, there was a minimal print run. It's really kind of a dream if you think about it from a collector standpoint. You have scarcity associated. They're not mega scarce. They're not numbered to 99 or numbered to 23. It's not RPA or something, but it's the only rookie card, the only true rookie card from the rookie year, 1984. Also, let me disclose as well, I do not own an 86 Fleer Jordan. I do not own an 84 Star rookie card for Jordan, but I am working on acquiring one. So I am sitting here talking about it, giving my opinion, and I'm going to back it up because I'm in the process of trying to acquire one of these Star 101s because I've done the research on this. I've been looking at this for a couple of years, and it just all makes sense to me. It might not make sense to you, and it's not taking away from the 86 Fleer and the mass importance of that particular card. It's a very important card in our hobby, not just in basketball cards, but sports cards as a whole. But I think that we just have to call things what they are. And this is the rookie card, the 84 Star Jordan number 101. It's from his rookie season. It was a fully licensed basketball card, and it was the first. All right, friends, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.